Hello, Ryan here, and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday. This is a weekly show which covers all of the news from the week just past. Be sure to subscribe if you like what you see, and let's get on with it. This week, Alpha 3.17.2 continues with the Evocati on the PTU. We learn more about the upcoming dynamic event, the Siege of Orison, plus we take a much deeper look at the upcoming derelict reclaimer settlement. So this week's Inside Star Citizen kicked off taking a look at the upcoming derelict reclaimers coming in Alpha 3.17.2. Now the team working on them really wanted to make the derelicts more enjoyable and fun, as we have seen in comparison with the old derelict caterpillars and the new versions, and also with this new planetary nav mesh, designers are now able to finally put life at the wrecks, which really elevates the locations and makes them far more interesting and dangerous. Now for Ghost Hollow, which we are seeing here, this is the very first derelict reclaimer settlement, and it is found on Microtech. They wanted to create a little bit of a story around them to give the impression of history, so similar to finding an old car in the woods where the environment has kind of taken over. And you will find at this location the wreck has been set up to allow for more FPS action, providing cover and verticality. It also allows for many missions to take the player here, and one of the best things about it is that you are free to arrive and approach from any angle and any direction. Now upon arriving at the crash, you will notice a large trail in the ground, giving the impression that the ship crash landed and kind of scraped along the surface, cutting the tops of the trees as well. Now it sounds like they also want to set up the interior to appear more like an older version of the Reclaimer, as they did mention it will have like the older tech in, but I don't think we've seen an old version compared to a new version for the Reclaimer, so it might be more narrative trying to come in and shape it a little bit more to give that impression. I do wonder if there is maybe an underlying story here to the Ghost Hollow, maybe a reclaimer from lore. I guess if it isn't already, then CIG's narrative team will create a story as to the background of the ship, which I hope they do. Now for this Ghost Hollow site, and I believe other derelict reclaimers that have been scattered throughout the verse, there will be NPCs located there, giving the player a bit of a challenge. And what's more exciting is that thanks to all of the work from the many different teams, they are now able to generate and procedurally place all of this type of content on the planet, and this is just the beginning of the long-term plans to populate and add more and more of these locations in the PU. It was also said that at this particular derelict reclaimer settlement is not the only one present in this patch, and they would like players to discover the others. Now I don't know if he is specifically meaning that there are more derelict settlements, or if he's just referring to the various other derelicts dotted around, non-settlements, with AI maybe patrolling around it. But either way, I'm really excited after hearing that to get exploring and finding these other wrecks. This, for me, is going to provide endless fun for a long while, running missions solo with the Zero to Hero characters, grouping up with the Org to kind of train and tactically attack and then defend each location with it all being different, or just simply sitting in the darkness in the woods and watching the players and NPCs kind of mingling together in their various ways. It is quite an exciting feature getting these in-game, and I can't wait to explore them all. Plus, from here, we will see, I think they're already working on the Mercury Star Runner and 600i derelict settlement, not to mention getting just every other ship in a derelict state, potentially with settlements and NPCs around them. It is really expanding in a big way. Now next up, we had a closer look at the Siege of Orison dynamic event that is making its way into the verse for 3.17.2 as well. This event is actually FPS only, with CIG really wanting to push the FPS combat to its extremes. Now with this mission, they want to pull players together to experience something that we may otherwise have not. They also mentioned that a lot of their missions currently do a lot of hand-holding, where they kind of mark everything for the player, allowing players to simply disengage and easily figure everything out without even thinking. And so for the Siege of Orison, they have no markers. The player must figure everything out for themselves. Now this is music to my ears, as I was literally just talking about this the other day, and how I don't want missions to be easy and handheld, requiring players to just simply follow UI. So yeah, hearing this, really can't wait to get in and try it out and see if we can figure things out as we go. Now this event is primarily set up to be a PvE mission with systems in place to kind of discourage PvP, but they don't protect players against the potential of PvP as they want players to protect themselves. So they're not actively supporting PvP in this event, like rewarding those who take the side of the pirates, but players are still free to do whatever they please. The event has also allowed the environment team to expand its visual library, and performance-wise, they decided to move it far away from Orison so that it could get the best performance possible. Now this event actually does sound pretty interesting to me, and also quite large. I love how it will bring different groups of players together, just sort of working together to not just fight the Nine Tails, but also figure out what needs to be done. And for me, this emergent gameplay in Star Citizen has really been shining through of late, as more missions, systems and locations bring players together. So having something like this where you will really need to just support each other as strangers if you just all arrive at the same time is certainly going to create a few bonds in the verse. Anyway, I do look forward to getting on with Siege of Orison. My only concern is just its replayability. Will we be able to keep doing this after we've done it once, twice more? As I'd really love to play through it solo with the org, on stream, in a video, so fingers crossed it has enough to keep us all interested and entertained time and time again, however often they do play this. However, it is not the end of the world if it isn't, as these events are not intended for that longevity, and I'll have more than enough to be getting on with 317.2 anyway. So that was Inside Star Citizen. Let us move on. So also this week, we had a new Banu message for players to translate. I have yet to see a translation, and I am certainly not going to be capable of doing so. So if anybody does know of any translations, please do let me know in the comments below. The roadmap was updated, which brought some very interesting new features for 317.2. Plus asteroid facilities for the future, which will be very exciting. And you can learn more about all of the changes in my roadmap video that I will link in the description below. Also this week, with it being the end of the month, Jump Point is available for all RSI subscribers, but there was no Star Citizen Live this week as there have been a few development summits which have created some scheduling issues. Now I do like the sound of development summits. Hopefully we will hear more or see more from these meets in the near future, as often they do get together and kind of showcase certain things that they've been working on with the other development teams. And finally, in regards to Alpha 317.2, the latest build being 317.2C, released on the 23rd of June, which I have covered the leaked patch notes in a video that I'll link in the description. I'm personally expecting a Wave 1, being concierge and subscribers, to roll out by the end of next week. But it is not a guarantee, it is just an opinion. In the meantime, I will be sure to continue covering any of the new Ivocati patch releases, but we are getting very close. So that brings us to the end of the show. If you do enjoy my content, please consider subscribing and hitting that like button. Also, I am able to do this thanks to my very generous patrons and channel members. If you appreciate what I do and would like to help make it even better from as little as $1 a month, all of the links are provided below.